Some quick notes before this video starts. I know there's already a few guides out there, but most either are old or not widely viewed by players, so I just want to make a guide that doesn't require cheesing or anything too complicated. And I won't be showing you how to do Showdowner cause that's already been covered a lot already, most notably the channel IIDDFAY. If you want to melee SQ, I recommend checking out his channel instead. Okay, so first let's get started with how Sledge Queen actually works. When you get into her range, which can be done by simply walking close to the castle, and you will also need to avoid getting too close to the castle as there's an MCX raider chilling just right above her. So best thing is to just stick near to the green wall besides you. And she will usually do the following, assuming this is the ideal situation. She will first do her jump to the moon move. This can be easily avoided by simply walking forwards or any direction that isn't behind you. And once she's done that, she will do a long shot, which you need to shove to avoid it. And last, I will assume you're constantly running away from her. After you're done shoving her long shot, she will switch into a parrying stance, as can be seen here, showing that she is wielding her hammer, protecting her head. And if you want her to get out of this stance, there are two ways, although I highly recommend doing the first one, which is by getting close to her. This will cause her to drop slide and stop the parrying stance. And the second option is that you can just wait it out and she'll automatically switch. And after all this, she will most likely do a grapple. And I guess that's about it about her mechanic. As I've said before, I won't go too deep about for this one. Moving on to the Holo Lure, this is by far the best and safest way to lure out Sledge Queen. Instead of you walking in, you can let the Holo do the job for you. And just like before, avoid sending the walking clone too close to the castle and stick near to the wall. You can use the ladder in front of you as a way to know where to send your clone. Now, there are two possibilities that can happen. The most ideal one is that she will miss the first clone and instead long shot it. The second possibility is where I see most players will get a bit of trouble is that she managed to land her hit on the first clone instead. And so, this is where your second clone, a standing one, comes into play. If the first situation happens, the clone can make Sledge Queen's drop slide out of her parrying stance so you can gun her down. And for the second situation, make sure to stay far away from the standing clone as she will long shot it. Now you may ask, how do we get her out of the parrying stance then? That will be talked about in the next part. And now for the prep. Have a gun that can do significant damage to her. For example, the modded a.k.a. MP5A10, Asval, UMP45, etc. Guns that can do at least more than 35 damage to her head. The KSG also work if you don't find any AKM blueprint. Make sure to have the paranoid trait equipped. And also make sure to also check the recoil of the gun and the perk you have. If you have high recoil, then magnum her up close. And for the opposite, you can stand far away. Bringing explosive complement well. It will make your job gunning her down a lot easier. Most recommended explosive are proximity mines, remote explosive, and dynamite. Your standing clone makes detonating these explosives a piece of cake. It's also better to be safer, so I highly recommend bringing like a splint or hammer static, items that can negate cripple and especially fracture debuff. Most perks require you to aim down sight, and with this game unpredictable RNG, you gotta make sure everything goes in your way. Since every enemy is in the game sim for this woman, except for Kotis, the moment you shove or damage her, they will be alerted to your locations, so make sure you clear out any enemies near the bridge area, and also try to avoid enemies along the way. The scavengers aren't your most concern, as the most aggroed enemies are the raiders. Take too long to kill her and you will be meeting another problem. Now back to the previously mentioned problem where she destroyed the first clone with her chum attack and long shot the second one. You can either force her to switch off the pairing stand by damaging her with explosive or anything that can stun her. Or second, you can still the same, wait it out and she'll automatically switches. Now here are some common combinations. The first one being gun and dynamite. The dynamite acts a bit differently from other explosions. It isn't a huge explosion but multiple instead, and so if all of it lands, it will take away 450 HP from Sledge Queen, and you can let the gun do the rest of the work. The second one is a Vagabond with 10 dog tags and a Kiss G. This is by far the simplest way to kill her. Follow the steps mentioned at the beginning, and make sure to have the paranoid trait equipped, and start moonwalking while mag dumping her. The last option people usually go is a gun and a gun. If you're doing this way, then do AKM shoot do the trick. Any other gun combination like AKM MP5 or AKM Asphalt will also work. Make sure to bring some stim with you because it will help, and for this you need to make the standing clone closer than usual. Hopefully she doesn't hit the first clone and drop slide sooner, and you can begin your mag dumping. For her other shenanigans, I'll go over quick. Roblox physics is dumb and occasionally she'll just fling everywhere.